beneficent, most merciful. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His aid, and we ask for His forgiveness. Dear students, today we will talk about grammar, a new chapter of the subject Introduction to Linguistics. In this lecture, we will know the definition of grammar and the traditional way or traditional grammar, the parts of speech. In parts of speech we have nouns, articles, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, pronouns, and conjunctions. And then after that we will also discuss agreement, subject-verb agreement, and then traditional analysis, and finally the perspective approach. First of all, we have to understand the meaning of grammar and the definition of grammar. It's the process of describing the structure of phrases and sentences in such a way that we count for all the grammatical sequences in a language and rule out all the ungrammatical sequences. This definition should be learned by heart. Now, what do we mean by traditional grammar? When we label the grammatical categories, when we use some words like articles, adjectives, nouns, pronouns, as an example of this phrase, the lucky boys, when we start labeling the categories by saying that this, the, is an article, lucky is an adjective, boys is a noun. Here we use traditional grammar, and the best known terms for that tradition are those used in describing the parts of speech. What are the parts of speech? Now, here we have an example, and we are going to label each word, each part, by using some terms as part of speech. For example, the sentence is, the lucky boys found a backpack in the park and they opened it carefully. Now let us start labeling by using parts of speech. For example, the word the can be described and labeled by an article. So the is an article. Lucky, this is an adjective, and boys is a noun. So this is labeling using parts of speech. Found is a verb. Again, one more article, that is a. Backpack is a noun. In is preposition, one more article. The. Park is a noun. Place, it is a place, a name of place, it's a noun. And is conjunction. They is a pronoun. Opened, again a verb. It as a pronoun, and finally carefully is adverb. We will study the following parts of speech in details. We will define each one and give you some examples. Now, nouns are often defined as words which name persons, places, or things. For example, we have a word like boy, river, friend, idea, university, vacation, I, dream, and so on. So these are nouns. Even names, proper nouns like, for example, John, Jack, Abdullah, Muhammad, and so on. These are called as proper noun. They are also noun. So John is a name because it is a name of a person. Mexico, Saudi Arabia, again it's a name. It's a noun because it is a name of a place. So in names we have proper nouns and common nouns. Generally, proper nouns start with capital letter like John, Mexico, Abdullah, Ahmad, and so on. The second part of speech is articles, and again there are words like a, an, and the. They are used with nouns to form noun phrases classifying those things. You can have a banana or an apple. Now, what is the difference between using a and an? Now, these two articles are called as indefinite articles. We use a with nouns begin or start with consonants, starting with B, C, D, F, G, all alphabets except vowels. So a is used with nouns begin or start with consonants, but an again is called as indefinite article, and it is used with nouns, but nouns begin or start with vowels A, I, O, U, and E. The is an article. It is used with definite nouns. When we say I'll take the apple, it means this apple, this particular apple. But when I say I need an apple means any apple. But the apple means this apple, which is already known to both the speaker and the listener. So here we have only three articles in English. We have a and an and the. A and an both are used with indefinite, and the article the is used with definite. The third part of speech is adjectives, and adjectives again are words used typically with nouns, here to provide more information about the things referred to. For example, we say happy people. So happy is an adjective, and it provides more information about people, about the noun. One more example, large objects. Now here we have a noun, objects, plural noun, and we are giving more information about objects. The objects are large, so large objects. So large here is considered to be as an adjective. A strange experience. We are giving again more information about the experience that is a strange experience. So experience is an strange is an adjective for the noun experience. The fourth one is verbs, and verbs are words used to refer to various kinds of actions. For example, go, talk, run, and states also. Verbs like be, have, involving people and things in events. For example, Sarah is ill and has a sore throat, so she cannot talk or go anywhere. So here is a verb. Has again is another verb. These two verbs describe the state of Sarah, the condition of Sarah. So they are stative verbs. Here, so she cannot talk and go. Again, these two verbs are called action verbs. They describe the action that Sarah cannot do. Talk, she cannot talk, as well as she cannot go anywhere because she's ill and she has a throat or sore throat. The fifth item is adverbs, are words used typically with verbs to provide more information about actions, states and events. For example, slowly, yesterday. These two words are adverbs. Some adverbs, like for example really, very, are also used with adjectives to modify information about things. For example, really large objects move slowly. So we are modifying or modifying information about things. Really large objects move slowly. I had a very strange experience yesterday. Next is prepositions, providing information about time. For example, at is a preposition which provides information about time at 5 o'clock in the morning. Again, in is another preposition which provides information about time in the morning. And also preposition like on, near, under provide information about place: on the table, near the window, under the chair. And other connections, for example, with a knife, without a thought, involving actions and things. Next item in parts of speech is pronouns. Again, there are words like he, she, they, I, herself, his, used in place of nouns, phrases, noun phrases, typically referring to people and things already known. She talks to herself. They said it belonged to you. Now, instead of saying, for example, Sarah, we can replace the noun Sarah, the noun phrase Sarah, with she as a pronoun. They said it belonged to them. They could be people or two persons. So let us say Ahmad and Abdullah said it belonged to you. Again, you could be to or could be used instead of a name. And the last part of speech is conjunctions, are words like and, but, because, when, so, and so on, used to make connections and indicate relationship between events. For example, Dana's husband was so sweet and he helped her a lot because she couldn't do much when she was pregnant. So here we use and as a connection to indicate relationship between events, because, for example, when she was pregnant, between two events, she wasn't feeling, she couldn't do much when she was pregnant. So conjunctions are words to make a connection or to indicate a relationship between events. Now here we will move to the agreement. Now agreement is the grammatical connection between two parts of a sentence. And this agreement could be number, an agreement between number, a person, tense, voice and gender. I'll explain what is the meaning of number, place, tense, voice and gender. As in the connection between a subject, Kathy, this is a name and it is a subject, and the form of the verb loves. There is a connection here between Kathy loves. Kathy loves chocolate. Now what is the relation? We will come in more details to know what is the relation and what is subject-verb agreement or what is the agreement between Kathy as a subject and the verb loves chocolate. Now, agreement in number means could be a singular or a plural. For example, when I say I, this is one number, so it is a singular pronoun. When I say they, more than one, so this is a number, could be 2, 3 and more, so this is a plural pronoun, they. Now when I say I speak, I should use a pronoun I with a verb which also suits the pronoun I. For example, I will say I as a pronoun, one person, and speak. Speak again is a verb. It is a singular verb. Why? Because there should be an agreement between the verb and the subject. A singular subject and a singular verb. This is the agreement, the relation between a singular pronoun and a singular verb. Again, when I say you as one person, again, this is a pronoun. It is a singular pronoun. Now the verb which follows should be also a singular verb. I cannot say or I cannot use a plural verb. We will come to this. Now when I say you love chocolate. Why? Because this is a relation, there is a connection between a pronoun, singular pronoun, and a verb that is a singular verb. With the third person, in English, the third person, singular third person, either pronouns he, she, it, or a name, we use S here with loves chocolate. We say he loves chocolate, she loves chocolate, or it loves chocolate, or Kathy loves chocolate. Why is this? Because in English, the third person, when I say a person, we have first person I, second person you, and here person is the third person. Again, there should be an agreement between third person singular, the pronouns he, she, and it, with the verb loves. We cannot say he or she or it love. Here we do not have an agreement between the third person singular pronoun with the verb. If I say, for example, he love, grammatically is wrong. Why? Because there is no relation, there is no connection, there is no agreement between the subject, this is the third person singular pronoun he, with the verb. The verb should be with S. When I add S, we talk about subject verb agreement, subject verb relationship. It means that the subject is singular and the verb is singular. So that's why we call it as agree with. He agree with loves as a verb. Now, when we talk about agreement in tense, we talked about agreement in number, agreement in person, and now agreement in tense, time. If I say Kathy is loved by her dog, again, there should be an agreement between Kathy, the subject, and the verb loved. Or Kathy is loved. Again, this is an agreement. I cannot say or use another verb. It should be loved. I cannot use another tense. For example, love. Kathy is loved by her dog. This is a passive voice. Now, the last one is agreement in gender. If I use Kathy as a subject, and this subject is, we have female names and male names. Kathy is a female name, right? So the pronoun which is used here is her. Again, this is a subject pronoun agreement, and this is regarding agreement in gender. When I say Ahmed is loved by, I cannot say her. I should use his. So the pronoun here changes and depends upon the subject. If it is singular, plural, or a name of a female or a name of a male. The traditional analysis of grammar which we usually use is shown in this table. For example, when we speak about present tense, the active voice, we use this table as I write. First person, I, singular. Second person, singular, we say you write as one person. The third person, singular, he, she, it. Pronouns, we say he writes, she writes, and it, within brackets, writes. For the plural, the first person plural, we write. The second person plural, you, as a group, you write. And third person plural, they, again, they write. This is the subject-verb agreement between the subject and the verb. And this is, of course, the traditional analysis of the grammar or any sentence. Now, the perspective approach. This will be the last. What is the perspective approach? An approach taken by a number of grammarians, mainly in 18th century in England, who set out rules for the proper use of English. For example, there are some errors or common mistakes when people speak by saying, who did you go with? This is a way of asking a question. Whom did you go with? Of course, in speaking, this is understood, but grammatically, it shouldn't be in this way. It should be, with whom did you go? So here, a teacher should correct the student's mistake, the common mistakes, common errors, by using perspective approach. So who did you go with is grammatically wrong. So we say, with whom did you go? Another example, Mary runs faster than me. In fact, again, this is a common mistake by using me as an object pronoun. It should be as a subject pronoun. So Mary runs faster than I, not than me. As I said, that these are some examples of common errors and mistakes, especially in spoken English and speaking. The third and last example is me and my family, or sometimes we say me and my friend, me and my brother. In fact, again, this is a common mistake, and it should be my friend and I, my teacher and I, my brother, my father and I. So this is an approach taken by a number of grammarians, mainly in the 18th century, who set out rules for proper use of language. Now here we come to the last part of the lecture, study questions. For more revision, I would like you to do exercises 1 and 3, and do not forget to do the first 2 and 3. That is page 92. hope to see you again, and this is the end of the lesson, and I hope to see you again in the coming lecture. Thank you so much for being with me. See you again. Bye.